In this Autodesk Fusion tutorial, we're going to model a screwdriver. In order to tell which mode you're in, you can click on Document Settings inside Fusion. Here, we are in the Part Design workspace of Fusion. To change that, click the little pencil, and then we can change our workspace to be Hybrid Design. Select Convert. Now Fusion is in Hybrid Design, and we can use Fusion's rule number 1 to create a component. There are a lot of advantages to working with parts, but we're going to stay with the simpler hybrid design for this model. But if I click on Create, notice I don't see any Create Component menu. That means I need to right-click on the top-level component and then select New Component. And in rule number 1, we always label the component. I'll label this Handle. Next, let's draw a sketch for half of the handle, and then we'll revolve it. Select Create Sketch, and then select this plane. This will become half of the screwdriver handle. Press L for the line tool. Select the origin, draw over, and I can type 11.5. If I press Enter, the line tool will stop. But if I click with the mouse, I can still draw more lines. There's no correct way, it's just whatever you prefer. If I move my mouse button up like this, I can type 5. And once again, if I press Enter, the tool will stop. Or if I click, I can draw more lines. I'm going to move over to the side here, type 3.5, click, move up, type 10. And now if I want to draw an arc, if I click in drag, it will create an arc. I'm going to click the green button here to stop this line. If for whatever reason that didn't work and you're drawing lines and you've stopped, you can always select the line tool again. Make sure you click this circle, draw over. What if you didn't have an arc? You can go to the Create menu, select Arc, 3-point arc, select this point, select another point, and then draw the arc. Sometimes it's easier to draw everything at once. Sometimes it makes it messier. Let's add a dimension to this arc. I'm going to press D, select this point, select the origin, and we'll also make it 11.5. Let's give the arc a height. Press D, click this point, and type 20. It should be tangent. Right here you can see it's tangent with this line, but if it's not, select Tangent, click the arc, and this line. Now it's tangent. While we're down here, let's go ahead and draw an arc here for the bottom of the handle. Select Create, Arc, 3-point arc. Click this line, then this line, and then click this line. Select Tangent, and click the arc in the bottom line, and the arc in the top line. Finally, click the arc in this edge here. Now it's tangent all the way around. Let's move back up to the top here. Press L, click the top point of this arc, go straight up, and type 40, and press Enter. At the top of this, we're going to draw another arc. Click Create, Arc, 3-point arc, and draw your arc like this. I intentionally drew this without it being tangent, so we can click Tangent, select this arc, and this line, and now they're tangent. We're going to draw another arc straight over like this. Select Create, Arc, 3-point arc. Click here, then over here, and make it just kind of like a rounded dome. Now press L for the line tool. Click the edge of this arc, come all the way down to the origin, and then click the origin. Right now yours might be at an angle like this, that's fine. Click the horizontal vertical constraint and make that vertical. We need to do a few things to straighten up this area here. Press Escape on your keyboard and then you can drag these pieces around. Make sure that this point is below this point. Then press D and then we can dimension the points and this will be 2.5. Click this point and then the bottom of this arc, move over and type 10. Click the outside part of the arc, the middle here, and then type 11.75. It's just a little bit wider at the top. You can see that slight curve right there. And then we also want this to be tangent with this line right here. There's no actual line there, so we need to create something. Many ways to do that. We could draw a rectangle or a square, or we could just draw a helper line. So let's draw a line by pressing L. Then we can just draw straight out. Press D. We'll give this a dimension, let's say 10, just so it's nice and even. Click the line, and then you can make it a construction line by clicking in the sketch palette or by pressing X on your keyboard. Now it's a dotted line. Let's make this arc tangent with this line. Click tangent, click the arc, then click the line. And make sure that this line is actually going out perpendicular. So that should fully define our sketch. If we twirl this out, look at our sketches, we can see that this has a red padlock. So now we're ready to revolve this screwdriver handle in Fusion. Click Finish Sketch. Then under the Create menu in Fusion, click Revolve. Fusion asks you what profile you want to revolve. Select this profile. And then what axis? We want the center axis. As soon as we do that, we get something that looks very much like a screwdriver. Select OK. Next, we're going to draw the little grooves that cut out of the screwdriver. But we need to get a sketch plane to be able to do that. So we're going to create a tangent plane. Click Construct, Tangent Plane. Select this face. And it doesn't matter which way you want to draw, and this is fine. But we want to have an offset plane. So click Construct, Offset Plane. Select this plane, and then type 2.75. So now that plane is offset from the original one. In our menu, we can hide the first plane so it's not confusing. Click Create Sketch, then select the offset plane. We need to project in part of the handle. So press P to project. And when you're projecting, you can either project in parts with specified entities, or you can project in the whole body. Press OK. Press R for the rectangle tool and draw kind of like this. We're going to dimension this rectangle with the D tool. Click this bottom part and type 6.25. Then we're going to make it coincident with the origin. Click the coincident constraint, select this line, then the origin. So now it's in line with the origin. Then we'll make it coincident with this line here. Select this line and this point. That's coincident. Then up at the top, move it down just a little bit. And then we can draw another line by pressing L. Click somewhere inside the rectangle. Make sure it's perpendicular. Then select Create Arc, 3-point arc. Select this point and this point, and make an arc kind of like this. We want this top part to be tangent, so select the tangent constraint, this arc, and this top line. And if you want to, you can make these construction lines. It's not necessary, but you can click this line and press X. Click this line at the top. This will stay here, and you could trim that off, but this is actually giving us information, so I think it's a good idea just to leave it there. We need to tell how tall this arc is. Press D, select this point, then this point, move over, and type 3.5. Click this point in the top of the arc, and type 2.5. Now click Finish Sketch. We're ready to revolve this part of the screwdriver handle, so click Revolve. Fusion asks what profile. We want this profile. Then the axis will be this edge of the rectangle. That should rotate around and create that cut. Select OK. We're also going to fillet off the edges here. So click Fillet. We want this edge, this edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge. We're going to do a 0.5 millimeter fillet. Press OK. Now let's make a pattern of this feature going around the screwdriver handle. Select Create, Pattern, Circular Pattern. We want to have features be the object type. It may default to bodies, so make sure you select Features. Then we want the revolve and the fillet, so we only have to do that once. The axis will be the middle line. If you can't see it, just hide the bodies. Select that point. Bring the bodies back. And then we want 4 of these. And select OK. And you can see that it copied the fillet command as well. Let's add some more fillets here. We want to put a little fillet right on this edge going around. So click Fillet. We could have done this before the Revolve-cut, but it's just as good to do it right now. And we'll click 0.5. And then click OK. We also want to put a fillet up at the top. So select this top edge, Fillet, 3.5. OK. And then right down at the bottom here, we're going to add a 1 millimeter fillet. Click Fillet and type in 1. Now our screwdriver handle in Fusion is starting to come together. Let's cut a hole for where the screwdriver shaft will be. We'll create a sketch. Select the bottom plane rather than the face because the bottom plane doesn't move. Press C, select the origin, and we're going to type 6. Press E. This will extrude, and then we can go up say approximately 35 millimeters, and press enter. Make sure the operation is cut, and now we have a hole going through the screwdriver body. Let's make sure that we activate the top level component by clicking this little dot, right click, and then make a new component. And we'll call this shaft, then select OK. As you can see, now you can see that we're in the active component of shaft rather than handle. We can still reference parts from handle while we're drawing shaft. In this particular case, you would think we were going to draw a cylinder, but we're actually going to use the revolve to make the screwdriver shaft. So click one of these vertical faces, and then press P. Before we projected the entire body, but we don't want to do that. We want to click the specified entities, the purple section, and then we want to make sure that we get this circle here and then that interior circle, and then press OK. That's all we need to be able to draw the screwdriver shaft. We can even hide handle right now, so it's not in the way. Now that we have these parts projected in from the handle, we're going to draw a rectangle to revolve the shaft. Press R for the rectangle tool, click the midpoint of this top line, then just drag down some amount. Press D, and then make this length 200 millimeters. We want this point to be coincident with this edge. So click coincident, click this point, and this point. Now that is controlled, that dimension is controlled by the handle. Let's draw another rectangle down here. Click this inner point and draw over, approximate like this, and then we'll draw one more rectangle, and I'm going to draw it way over to the side. Then click the collinear constraint, select this line and this line. Those are collinear. Press D and we'll dimension this 15. And then dimension this one the same. You can either click this dimension and Fusion will update it automatically or type 15. We need a width, and the width will be 7.5 divided by 2 or 3.75. So you can see how this is just a little bit longer. Now let's create an arc. 3-point arc. We'll click here and then here and create an arc and make sure that's tangent. Now we have all the parts we need to revolve the screwdriver shaft. Click Finish Sketch. We're going to revolve. Select this profile, and this profile. The axis will be the center point right here, and then select OK. If we show our handle, you can see that now the screwdriver shaft is right there with the handle. But this doesn't look much like a screwdriver shaft. We're going to go ahead and fix that. Now we're going to create a sketch so we can cut off the parts that make the tip of the screwdriver work. Click Create Sketch. We want it to be on one of these vertical planes. This one will work fine. And then we're going to press P to project. And in this case, we want to get the entire body. So click the entire body of the shaft and press OK. We want to draw two lines from these points right here. So press L. Click this point, draw down to the middle. Make sure you don't click the midpoint. Make sure you click over something like this. And then click this line here and somewhere not on the midpoint. We'll dimension these edges right here. So click this point to the middle, and this will be 3. Click this point to the edge, drag down, and then you click this same dimension so it updates automatically in Fusion. Click Finish Sketch. Press E for extrude, and then we want to get these two profiles. And if you look, these profiles are in the middle, so that means we want to have the direction be symmetric, and the distance will be all. Operation will be cut, and it'll cut that off. So now we have the taper of our bit, but we need to make another slice in this direction. So let's create a sketch and select this face. Press P to project. And once again, we'll get the entire body. Press OK. And this time, our cut starts way up here. So press L, select this point, come all the way down, and select somewhere close to the middle. We're going to do one more. Click this point, all the way down here. Press D, click this point down at the bottom, and this point. And they are 1.25 apart. But we need to center them. There's no center point here, so there's many ways to do this. We can click L and then draw a line to the midpoint right here, and then draw one more line to the midpoint. select the equal constraint, and select both these lines. They're a little hard to select, but if I click and hold, you can see I can select that sketch line, then click and hold, and then I can select that sketch line. And now this is perfectly centered. Let's finish our sketch. Press E. We want to get this profile and this profile. And notice that they are going one direction, but we want them to go symmetric, and we want the distance to be all. Press OK. And then you can see how this is now cut perfectly as if it was a screwdriver bit. Let's click the top level component. And now we have a screwdriver. If you want to make sure that your components are separate pieces, you can click Inspect, Display Component Colors, and this will show you how those components go together. This is a special screwdriver for working on sewing machines, so it has an extra long shaft to get around the sewing machine parts. Hopefully you've learned how to use different operations in the hybrid modeling design in Autodesk Fusion to make and model a screwdriver. Happy 3D modeling!